Can't hear you.
No sound.
Do you guys want to give me just 1 minute to move to another location?
Sure.
I'm just going to mute my camera while I finish my lunch here. Excuse me.
Heather, do you have your Synergy key handy? Because I can't seem to get a good internet connection anywhere, but I don't normally have problems in Synergy.
Just so you know, you're not muted.
That's okay.
Yep.
Okay, let's try this, guys. Okay, can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. My apologies on that. Okay, so Tara, do you have roll call all set? We have quorum today with myself. We've got Brad, Nick, Kelly, Richard, and Lawrence on. And no media that we're aware of, correct?
That's correct.
Awesome. So I think we have a relatively short agenda today. Can I call for a mover on approval of minutes from May 19th, please? Kelly, and do I have a seconder? Nick, and everybody good with those minutes? And carried. Do we have anyone on today with a declaration of pecuniary interests? Nope. Okay. We'll move into new business. Travis isn't with us today, but Alana will be taking over on a tourism update for us.
Sure, I can do that. Yeah, Travis sends his regrets. He's on holidays this week. So I will fill in with an update for the board for tourism. It's been a busy month. Just want to let everybody know that we are continuing to work with the Agua Canyon Tour Train for both marketing and push for ticket sales for this season. We have started to work together to obtain reports as to the status of tickets. So our staff can work according to those reports for the group tour markets and the independent travelers to try and bump up ticket sales. So as we receive those reports, we'll be responding accordingly. The train is still scheduled to run during the proposed operating season, no change there. So we're continuing to move that forward. The second large tourism product this summer that I'd like to share an update on is the Loch Tours boat. Just want to let everybody know that we're continuing to work together between the two legal parties to establish the legal agreement to be able to release the funds to Loch Tours Inc. To be able to do their upgrades for the vessel to get it operational for the summer. We are, from my understanding, getting quite close to settling on an agreement, and just want to remind the board that previously you've given direction to the chair to be able to negotiate that agreement on your behalf. So we should have that settled shortly, and it will be signed off and sent over for final review. The board won't have a chance to see it based on the delegation that you've given to the chair, just to in an effort to keep everything expedited and moving along. You're muted, Bev.
Technology is not my friend today. As part of those conversations, Joe has also been involved in it, just so you guys are aware, on the legal side of things. And Richard's also been participating in those conversations and bringing forward the concerns into the agreement that the board had originally.
Okay, so an update as well for Sail Superior. We are still looking to bring the Zodiac boat to the Sioux this summer. Advanced ticket sales are out right now. We're looking to try and secure a minimum number of tickets to make it a worthwhile venture. So just a reminder to everybody to help us with your marketing and promotion, share the videos, and try and help us bolster some of those ticket sales. As of right now, they are lower than we would like them to be. So if we can collectively try and continue to spread that message, that advanced ticket sales are required in order to secure them to come here for the week during the summer. There's lots of promotional video online. We have a blog story on our website. Anything that we can use to share would be greatly appreciated. So if we can collectively try and do that, that would be great. An update as well too from the staff side. Our staff attended Rendezvous Canada, which is an international media marketplace in Toronto last month. We had over 73 appointments with group tour operators and international media representatives. Primarily, we were promoting group tour offerings, including the Agua Canyon Tour Train, Lake Superior Coastal Drive, and Indigenous tourism products. So our staff right now is conducting follow-up with those group tour operators in an effort to secure business here for Sault Ste. Marie in the future years. As a part of Rendezvous 2, we had a chance to host one of 3 post-FAM tours, and Northern Ontario was selected as a site for a FAM tour for 6 delegates. So we hosted 1 full day in Sault Ste. Marie for these delegates to experience some of our key attractions. So we took them to Parks Canada Canal, had a tour and a experience in their new visitor center, walked through Whitefish Island, came back, experienced in Tomica and the Bush Play Museum. And then we had a dinner, a heritage dinner over at the Ermitainer House. And the next day they did a Lake Superior Coastal Drive, courtesy of Algoma Country. And then they continued on through throughout Northern Ontario. So we did have a great time showcasing Sault Ste. Marie to future potential tour operators and establish some of those relationships. We hosted last week as well Adventures with the Hills, which is, I would say, a lower end media influencer, mostly targeting family products, looking at what we can do in Sault Ste. Marie specific for families. So they did experience, and Brad, you can help us out here too. They had a tour, a powwow tour with Thrive Tours last week, and they also got out in the kayaks out on the river, and we had a chance to. Sorry, Bev, you need the number? Tara, if you can type in the number for Bev to call in, that would be great. Yeah, so we had a chance, and what we're going to do with that information is they collected a series of photo assets, and they're going to provide us with some content for our website and their social platforms to help promote Sault Ste. Marie as a family-friendly destination. And the other piece I'd like to share with everyone is we did for Tourism Week host a series of 3 different webinars, providing people with information on all of the great things to see and do in Sault Ste. Marie. Those recordings will be made available shortly for staff in the hospitality industry to use for training. So we had a very thorough discussion over 3 days of all of the different activities, attractions, partners, where we had a chance to showcase a little bit of an overview of all of the offerings that we have, and we recorded it. So we're going to make that available, and it'll be available until next year when we update it for staff to use as you're training and onboarding new people that are looking for information on what to see and do in Sault Ste. Marie. It was really, really well done. Kudos to everybody that helped put that together. We didn't have a great turnout when we were recording it, but that's okay because the intent was to capture the information and have it available. So we will have that in probably available by the end of next week for everybody. We just have to do some editing on the videos. From my end, Beverly, that's all I have for an update. Does anybody have any questions about the dashboard or my update?
One question is how do you think we're doing with American potential visitors?
So I was involved in a conversation this week specific to the ArriveCan app and looking at how that app is working or not working. I believe, in talking to my colleagues in the industry, that the vaccine mandate at the border is continuing to be a major hurdle. We are seeing some ease of the restrictions with air travel, but the land border crossings haven't. And it's my belief that we are definitely at a detriment as long as that vaccine mandate is in place at the border.
Yeah, we're not, I know the cruise ships that dock over in Sioux, Michigan, we're not getting anybody to come across. So.
No, and I've been in close contact with the cruise ship operators. It's definitely an issue. An added layer into the fact that they increased the pricing as a premium tour. We're seeing a decline in the number of visitors coming over from the US ports. It's minimal compared to what we've seen before. There is an industry push collectively to advocate for change at the border crossings, knowing full well that the vaccine mandate and the ArriveCan app is a deterrent for a lot of the US visitors. For the group tour market, I'd have to go through and look at what we have on the books and see what we have in terms of domestic versus US group tours. I'm not sure where that's at, but I know from the independent traveler and definitely from the cruise ship industry, it's continuing to be a hurdle. Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, Alana. Did anybody else have questions for Alana with regards to the tourism update?
Well, I just want to say, sorry, I want to say that the hills were great. We had a fantastic time bringing them out, and we appreciated what they brought to the table. It was a fantastic little family that I think really showcases what can be done as a family here in the area, and hopefully we did them proud, or did use proud, and I think that the powwow, I learned the powwow tour went extremely well. We had Chief Dean Sayers talk, as well as Ozma. Talked there at Oklahoma University, so it really couldn't have gone any better for our first run out. And so anyways, we're looking forward to additional learn how to powwows and Road Scholars tours. Actually, that was another thing that happened just before that event.
Yeah, that's great. And you know what, Brad, I'll just expand on that for the board's knowledge. Thrive Tours is offering Learn to Powwow tours available to anybody that's looking to come in. So if you have guests or you have visitors that are looking to experience that, Thrive is offering a Learn to Powwow tour. And part of what we did with Adventures with the Hills is capture that information so that we can continue to market the Indigenous tourism side as well as the family perspective for the powwow tours. One thing I didn't mention that I would like to share, it's in the dashboard as well, that you'll see the MAC collection numbers for 2022 for April exceeded the pre-COVID numbers in 2019. So in 2019, April collection was just over 83,000, and 2022, our collection was just over 91,000. So that's good news. The other piece of that, we don't have the data in yet, but we do expect May to be a strong month as well, based on the Ontario basketball visitation. We know that there were some good numbers there. So we're on track with our MAC collections for these months.
Awesome. Thanks, Alana. So the next thing on the report is STR report. Tara, are you able to share my original screen?
No, sorry, Beverly, but you do have permission.
Oh, that would mean I have to know how to use Zoom though. Share screen. Perfect. There we go. So one thing I want to talk to the board about is with regards to STR. It's Smith Travel Research. The board members that are hoteliers are probably fairly familiar with STR. It is a data reporting agency that provides us with trend numbers, gives us comp sets that we're able to put together and look at. And through a recent workshop that I did, I learned about destination reports and had a conversation with Alana, and it was something that tourism had already started looking into. So I just wanted to share some of this information with the board and then talk about the possibility of buying into STR to do some analysis and really have a look at what's happening in Sault Ste. Marie.
You're frozen again, Bev.
Basically what STR does is they compile our occupancy numbers from the hotels, they compile our ADR, and then our RevPAR. ADR, it refers to our average daily rates at the hotel. RevPAR is our revenue per available room. That being said, on the screen here, this is just so you know a sample report that STR provides so that they can demonstrate the different areas. Occupancy, again, is basically our hotel rooms sold. What's nice with STR is it does give you comparatives year over year. So you can see where your percentage of change is and how you're benchmarking compared to a previous year. It measures your ADR and your RevPAR as well. With these reports, it also includes things like supply. So how many rooms were available, what the demand was, so what that market trend tended to be, and then your revenue. Again, things like percentage of change, when you end up in the negatives, it means that you had a lower occupancy year than the year before, and obviously a positive is higher. What's nice about this is it gives you that benchmarking. It also, with the revenue, would give us some trackability when we're looking at MAT taxes and that as well. They include reports like this that give you weekday versus weekend, and you're able to track where your occupancy is, what your ADR was trending at. So again, a lot of this is just to give us an indication as to how well we're actually doing year over year comparatively. Does anybody have any questions with regards to that part of it so far, or how we use it on a hotel level? Okay. So cost-wise, to give us this information, we're looking at about $2,200 per year US to buy into the monthly report. I don't believe that the weekly report is something that we would necessarily need to look at. I think tracking things monthly different areas that you're able to buy into. So we would be able to do a market report or a multi-segment report based on other areas, including those in the state. So we could compare to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. We could compare to Sudbury, North Bay, Thunder Bay. Those reports, you have to choose 6 different regions. And those reports are at about $1,800 US a year. So if we decided that we wanted to buy into both of them, we'd be looking at about $4,000 US per year. Sorry, Alana, do I have you there?
You're cutting in and out, Bev. I can only hear every second or third word.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what's with my internet connection here today. Did you get any of that?
I got bits and pieces of it.
Okay.
I don't know. I can see from some of our board members that it looks like everybody's getting bits and pieces.
Everybody's getting bits and pieces. I just switched over to my data there. Is it coming in better now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, excellent. Sorry. So with regards to that, the gist is that, you know, it would give us data tracking for all of the city. All major branded hotels in Sault Ste. Marie are participating in the current STR list. Is this something that you guys think you might be interested in? And I can always provide more information to the board if you wanted to look at it further, or if you had any questions on how we use it, or, you know, Don or Nick, Kelly, if any of you guys want to comment on your use of the STR report on a property level.
I will. I know I watch my Star fairly closely, and with our agreements, I get a report every week. So I do see it would be a good tool to mark trends, right? We can see if, as an example, when we know we have a big event like the basketball, right? We can see how it spikes our visitation to the city. I believe if you go a little further, you could even get info on where the business is coming from and all that kind of stuff. So it is a good tool to really understand, areas where we can focus in as a board to say, okay, like if I know part of our mandate is to support events and build tourism events. We could always use that report to look and okay, well, we have a lull at this period of time. What kind of things could we do during this period of time, as an example? Now, from a hotel perspective, obviously, we have a pretty good understanding of the ebbs and flows of the way the season works around here. But I think even as a planning tool, it could be valuable in the sense of understanding when people come in. Is it being driven by a special event? Is it just seasonal things? And be able to, as we get requests or we try to develop different events and stuff like that, or even as a tool that we can use with organizations that are running current events, saying, hey, you know what, this is kind of a lull period. This is what we notice. Things, these types of events tend to spike visitation during this time. You might want to consider, instead of having events that are stacked in and around the same week, as an example, consider these dates and then be able to, support them, be it financially or with the collective expertise of the board to say we can, let's develop the event for this period because this is a lull period and we could really promote it as a driver during these periods, as an example.
It starts to give us a lot of the different historical data. It gives us where we've been and where, where we can improve some of those shoulder areas as well. Kelly or Nick, any comment from you with regards to the use of STR?
Yeah, for me, I feel like it's going to give us the facts instead of our inferences on the success of some of those events that we're bringing in. So we'll be able to go back to these Str reports to validate, the information that tourism is bringing forward. And then the better understanding as to whether or not we would want to entertain that type of business in the future. Is it worth, pursuing? So we would have that. And also, I believe it would give us better insight on how we can continue to grow our average rate in Sault Ste. Marie. So having the comparison reports available to us with other communities like North Bay, Sudbury, Timmins, and see where our opportunity is in terms of average rate. That average rate, if we're building on that, is going to turn into more MAT tax that goes back into, obviously, tourism development. So those are a couple of the wins that I believe that this reporting, would give us.
Thanks, Kelly.
And just add one more thing to that too. Like, we could be strategic, right? Because if we see that whatever competitive set we set against one another, if we see spikes during the year, we can learn from that too. Saying, like, for example, if we're comparing ourselves to Sudbury and we notice, hey, this particular week or weekend in Sudbury seems to be busy, what was going on there? Do we have a shot at kind of doing the same thing, or taking that particular event, or trying to compete for that particular event? Myself, I'd be very interested in, and I know we're kind of still, there's a lot of unknowns with the US market, but I'd be interested in comparing ourselves to places like, Traverse City or upper northern Michigan areas, because we can learn a lot from there, and there is a lot of visitation, just from my experience traveling through the area, that we can capitalize on to have them take that extra hour drive north, or hour drive north, to really see the splendor that is Lake Superior, right? A lot of people talk about Lake Michigan, especially in that area, but it does give us a lot of things that we can learn and try to focus on, and saying, okay, we see this, why is it that way? How can we parlay that either as having a add-on event that follows it or precedes it, or having something going on at the same time to try to encourage people to take that extra drive up. May not necessarily turn into a whole hotel night stays, but certainly, if we could learn it and get more people up our way, benefits us all indirectly anyway.
Thanks, Don.
Can I hear from Alana on how she thinks she might be able to use it?
So I've looked at these reports, and I think there's a couple of uses that we can do for sure. From the sports tourism side, to Don's point, as tracking and assessing events has always been a challenge, because we have to rely on either the event organizer or the hoteliers to report, and a lot of times they don't catch the information exactly as we need it. So I see a huge benefit in that point. The other side of it is, and I just from reading on the Star, I'm not sure exactly how they do it, but we might be able to track some of our marketing campaigns as well, which I think would be a useful tool. Collectively, I know in speaking to a lot of the hoteliers, they use the report individually for their hotel. This is an opportunity to see everything as a collective, so everything combined, which I think will give a unique perspective. Something that we've never had a chance to do before is see everything combined. We do get the CBRE reports from Destination Northern Ontario, which show occupancy, but we don't know who's reporting into that data. So it's difficult to assess the validity of it, because we don't know if it's one hotel reporting or everybody. This one will be able to know that it's all of our branded hotels, and it'll be an opportunity for the first time in my time here to be able to see collectively what our occupancy looks like compared to our hotel rates. And the other piece of it is when we're looking at collecting our MAT, our MAT tax, we're tracking it knowing that we're seeing an increase, but we also know that the hotel rates have fluctuated. So it's an opportunity to see the perspective of our MAT tax collection in relation to what the actual rates were for the hotels.
Yeah.
Can't hear you, Bev.
Okay, I do have a resolution with regards to being able to move forward with buying into Str. It is a yearly subscription. And the resolution would read, be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie authorize the purchase of monthly STR destination reports and market segmentation reports to assist in assessing our destination's performance. Would I have a mover on that? Kelly and Dawn second. Can I call for a vote in favor of moving forward with STR? Okay, motion carried. Thanks, guys. We'll have a look at it, and Alana, maybe we'll talk a little bit about what we think for those other destinations, and then if anyone on the board has an opinion as to where they would like to see those destinations, and then we can go from there with regards to picking, Northern Ontario or one or two in the US. I think we have to pick a minimum of 6, so we can go from there.
Okay, perfect.
Excellent. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is Tourism Development Fund application from Sudan Hapkido. Alana, will you be speaking to that then?
Yes, I will. Okay. Just confirming that everybody received the application summary and the analysis matrix. Okay, so I'm going to go through just the application summary highlights for this application. So I've worked with Sudan Hapkido for several years. Their organization is looking to do, it's called the World Martial Arts Seminar, and it will be bringing together international martial arts students in various disciplines to compete in a 3-day, it's not even necessarily competition, it's a training seminar over 3 days. They are experiencing a fairly high uptick in international registrations. They do have a Grand Master traveling from overseas, as well as 3 other instructors coming internationally. The registrations for this event, they anticipate to sit around 75 local participants, 40 coming from within the region, 100 coming from across Ontario, 50 from across the Canada's nation, and 43 coming from out of town. They're on track to hit this target based on their registrations. The visitation over 2 days at $150 a day brings an impact of about $81,000, but it's amplified by the fact that there's a contingent staying longer over 7 days, making Sault Ste. Marie their destination. They're coming from overseas, so they're expected to be here for 7 days, bringing in another $35,000 in impact. This event is building on the success of over the last couple of years. Sudan Hapkido has hosted smaller level seminars, and now with post-COVID, they believe that there's an urgency and a bit of a need for people to start traveling again, to come and attend these. So they are seeing a good uptick in their registrations. On the scoring matrix, they received a score of 48. I'll go through the evaluation as we did it. In the first category of visitor days, they received 10 points. Out of town visitation, 270 for a total of 5 points. This event was rated as good potential for growth year over year, as we're continuing to see more people interested in traveling for these types of seminars, especially with high profile Grand Masters like they're bringing in. We rated it as a 7. The reach of the event is international, and the impact of this event is sitting low around the 100,000 mark, so they received 2 points there. The utilization of local services, it's held in 1 location, so they received 2 points in that category. And the peak season is in May to July, which also gives them a low score of the 4. Provincial media exposure and the event frequency in the last couple of years, they've held a similar event, so we rated it as a 2. And the tourism objectives, the priority sector that it aligns with is sports tourism, so we rated it a 3, giving them an overall score of 48, which falls in the category of $5,000. And that is their ask for the board for consideration.
Thanks, Alana.
just on that, Bev, if I may, I'll share with you, following City Council's meeting last week, the TDFs that went to Council on Monday of this week were all approved. So our balance sitting in the Tourism Development Fund, less the applications that were approved on Monday, sits around 337,000.
Excellent, thank you. Any,
I do have a question. Are these the same folks that had that big tournament 4 or 5 years back?
Yeah.
It is, eh?
anyone else with questions or comments towards this TDF application?
Don, in your statement there, was that a concern for you?
No. I just I remember something about like martial arts. I want to say it was 4 or 5 years ago. Alana can correct me on that, but I believe it was a pretty good event and it was well attended.
Mhm.
So yeah, like it would be something that I would say is worth supporting because they have experience running, maybe not this specific event, but events of the size, and have drawn good crowds or good attendance previously. So
Yes, I can speak to that, Don. They have held several events here. One that you're speaking of was a world-class event.
Yeah.
Brought in several hundred people internationally. They have an incredible reputation in the community, in the martial arts community, and some very, very strong connections to bring in high-profile names, which will be an incentive for folks to want to travel from across the province, because they're going to want to come and train under the names of these grandmasters. So my experience, if I may share, has been nothing but positive in working with the Kanakios. They've been strong advocates for hosting events and still plan to continue to host events in coming years. They have just quickly, if I may, they have a gentleman flying in from South Korea as a Grand Master, and they have Master Kim, who's visiting Canada for the first time. They have confirmed participation in their event right now from India, Nepal, United States, Africa, and British Columbia.
Excellent, thank you. Anyone else? Or-
I'm ready to vote on the motion if nobody wants to ask questions.
Okay. So the resolution would read as follows. Be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution up to $5,000 through the Tourism Development Fund Conferences and Special Events stream to support the Sudan Hapkido 2022 World Martial Arts Seminar on July 15th to 17th, 2022. And then a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. Do I have a mover for this? Don and Lawrence as a seconder. All in favor? Awesome, motion carried. Thank you, guys. Okay, so that's our 2 resolutions for the day. Looks like that's all that we had on the agenda. Did anyone else have any thing that they wanted to bring up?
I did. Okay, so on June 1st, ourselves, Thrive Tours, as well as Force the Canoe and Black Bear had a meeting at the Water Tower Inn between 1 to 5 p.m. And we're developing an itinerary for a multi-day stay here in Sault Ste. Marie, utilizing the 3 of the partners of the ones that I just named. We have a draft itinerary that's built up, or that we built, and I just wanted to find out if this is a good time to talk about that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the event will be running from September 2nd to 5th, and we at the Water Tower Inn, we had Barb Farrell, who is Tourism Excellence North specialist. She helped facilitate the Eco Partners meeting at the Water Tower Inn, like I mentioned, Beverly and JJ provided a space and support to get the 3 eco partners together. This is a first of hopefully many. We're going to do this as a template or as a first to see how well we can pull this together and how what the reception would be. So we're focusing on 10 tourists or 10 participants, and they will be all at one place, and they will be going from one area to the next, utilizing the adventure bus. So Forest of Canoes adventure bus, which is going to be a really great opportunity for them to launch that. So the Forest of Canoe will be transporting them to each of the dates or the checkpoints and the events. So on Friday, it looks like we are going to go from Clerg Park. That would be the welcoming. Essentially, we'll be going from one to the next, and with this, like I said, on the bus. And there's going to be some powwow. Learn how to powwow is going to be another thing that we're going to be doing for this on the itinerary. So that would be one of the things that we are looking forward to do, and then there's going to be a culinary tour as well. So we have, again, we're working with this with getting the itinerary all nailed down and all the partners put down. So anyways, this is something that we are, again, that's September 2nd to 5th.
Right, can I make a suggestion to you as well?
Yeah.
Just from what I'm hearing and folks that I've talked to at the hotel, I think that there's a great interest in having like a similar tour centered around fishing. I've had lots of people ask me about fishing. So I don't know if you can incorporate that into your itinerary or develop a different itinerary around that. But I know definitely that just from the feedback I've gotten at the hotel, there's an interest there, especially in the rapids and especially in and around the city.
Yeah, definitely. We are looking to build out from this, but fishing is something that we are interested in. We just received a new stand-up paddleboard that is geared towards fishing, so we're going to be unboxing that and testing that on the water. So yeah, we're looking forward to incorporating fishing. I know that's something that we had in our plans, but we just sort of wanted to get square one and square two figured out before we fold in the fishing. But certainly that's something that we could definitely wrap into, if not this one, future ones.
Excellent. Thanks for that update, Brad. Did we have anyone else that had any business that they wanted to bring up?
I just have a question for the group, and maybe Alana has more to elaborate on this, but the oil spill in the river and the effect on tourism that's going to have. I mean, word's getting out about that, and I'm wondering if anybody knows what's being done about it.
Lawrence, I can start from our perspective. I know that the mayor's office is working to advocate on behalf of the municipality. From a tourism side, the impact that we know of as of right now, Brad has shared with me that Thrive has had to cancel several tours that were planned for the waterfront. We do have media coming in this weekend to host a live TV show, so we've had to rejig our plans in that relation. I have reached out through some colleagues to APH directly to get some timelines as to when they feel the advisory for the waterfront will be lifted. Hoping to hear something back later this week in terms of timelines. As far as the outward perception of what this means for our community, I think that's a greater discussion, something that we need to look at and see what that means for us. It is in our attention. I can assure you that it's not something that we've lost sight of.
There's no doubt that I know you're on top of it, and I just thank you for sharing that. Considering that it is height of season for a lot of our small businesses, is there a method of recourse, compensation for them that we can assist tour companies like Thrive, Forest Canoe, and the other fishing outfitters that are impacted by this?
It's a good point. And you know what, Lawrence, I'd like to take that into consideration and see what it is that we can do from a board's perspective. I'll turn it over to you for discussion. If there's something there from a municipality side, we will move it up our chain of command.
Yeah, we've been hearing a bunch of questions as to what it is, what it could be, and obviously the testing is going to bring to light that. But I've been hearing some interesting things on the on different levels, and I definitely want to know exactly what we're dealing with here. Being is that the official word is gear oil, and I'm hearing other things that are not exactly that, actually not even close to that. I'm really interested to see how accountability will come in, and also, and obviously the the ecological impact that this will have moving forward. Yeah, and maybe strategies as to how we should move forward with marketing and everything, because I know that it's going to be something that we're going to have to take on the chin quite a bit as we move forward, helping reactivate the waterfront.
Has anybody in our board had experience with this before? This is the first time I've had it happen in my time here.
No.
No, I think this is a first for sure, Lawrence.
Well, I know that when we first got into town and we talked to the Waterfront Adventure Center about what it is, like what the perception is and all that, just to get a sense of what where we're going with how we'd have to help in the ways that we could. They said that it's a history that has has deposited specifically with the tailings and whatever is coming out of Algoma Steel, has been making people fearful of the river. And to me, that's it was really kind of startling. And it would be nice to be able to do some sort of environmental assessment to be able to see if these are founded or unfounded, and if they are founded, by what does it require us to be able to figure out a way in which to either wrap others' heads around or be able to assure people that things are in the up and up when it comes to the environmental safety of that area. So anyways, I definitely think that we should have something so that we can promote it if it is, if these things are being taken care of, or if it's somewhat benign as to what we feel that they're kind of playing it down to. I think we should just have these cold facts so that we'd be able to have that truth, and truth is is important for us, obviously, for many reasons, but obviously the way that the America and the Coast Guard looks at this and this maybe these misdirections, I think this is going to be negatively impacting our tourism sector here in the area. So anyways, any thoughts towards that would be helpful.
Thanks, Brad.
Who ultimately would be in charge of the cleanup? I know that they did some remediation, but I don't think I've seen any activity down there.
Ministry of Environment would oversee that. And it would be good to at least hear from them if they could, Alana, if you're getting a report from the MOE on that, it would be nice to be able to share that from on the next meeting, especially if there's any precautions that we need to take, because I'm teaching down in that water. If there's any actions that are being done by the MOE, I think that would be good to know. And then, of course, not from the MOE, but from the from the people responsible with their responsibilities and their recourse and their intended actions are going to be in terms of tourism and the environmental cleanup.
You know, that's noted, Lawrence. Thank you for that. Just to be clear, the report I'm waiting on is from APH. But I would assume that they're receiving their direction based on data collected maybe from the MOE. But absolutely, as we receive information, we will share it. Right now, it's my understanding that it's almost, we're in the evaluation stages of what this really means and what the impacts are. And I do believe that we will keep those conversations going and happy to advocate certainly for the industry, because it will without a doubt have an impact.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's good thought and conversation to move forward with. If there's nothing else today, then next meeting is slotted for July 21st at noon. And with that, I will ask for a mover to adjourn today.
Do we have to sing happy birthday to Richard first? I can see happy birthday behind you. Is it your birthday, Richard? You're on mute.
Yesterday.
Yes,
Oh.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Richard.
Thank you.
We are going to,
I'm up at Ranger Lake, by the way, so at the cabins, they're quite nice.
Good place
we're
to
going
be.
to try and look at having our meeting in July in person if possible. So we're going to work towards that.
At City Hall?
Yeah, I believe by then we'll probably be able to. Stay tuned, but that's what we're going to work towards. There will still be a virtual option though, for folks that want to call in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if there's nothing else today, I will call for a mover on adjourning. And I only have Alana.
Second it.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. We are adjourned for the day. Enjoy.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Have a good day, everybody.